the mind space, but it is a very difficult space. You have 3 minutes, 3 to 6 minutes, to tell a very succinct and a punchy story through a song that comes from a songwriter that has put blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I think that is a very difficult ask. I think it's much easier to tell a story over a 260 episode telenovela. So very, very key in terms of who we are as a people, as a culture, in celebrating ourselves. And I hope that we never actually lose that creativity and essence of who we are, in kind of giving the world a snapshot of who we are in 3-4 minutes.
Fire. Want to double down on that, Nate?
One, two. Okay. No, I think you answered it perfectly. I don't even think my English is that good. Wow. And I only have one language. And that was incredible. I think you hit it on. And I just want to say shout out to all the directors and the producers that are here. You know, I steal something from Slicker. I don't think he's here anymore, but I steal this line from Slicker during my documentary, because in the process of this documentary, I just tried to interview really intelligent people and then use what they say and make myself sound like, oh, I'm such a great director. But there's a line that Slicker says where he talks, and Tabang Malaya, sorry, they both said similar things, and they talk about how you don't see culture while you're creating music videos and being a stylist or whatever it is. In the moment, you just feel like it's cool. And when you really see the impact of that culture and what you've done as a creative, it's only looking back. And I just want to honor all the people that are here tonight, all the directors, producers, stylists, ADs, whoever it may be, because they've influenced culture. And I hope that that resonates within the documentary, and we capture your little moment that all of you guys have contributed to culture. And there's a timepiece in life that we have these music videos, and that's storing time for us. It's storing culture for us. So shout out to everybody that's a creative in this room, man. It's actually all about you guys. Just a little round of applause for those people.
Definitely a big shout out to them. And I think, Shirley, you also mentioned, in terms of, the beautiful part about seeing ourselves as well, and seeing our culture depicted in all of these myriad of videos. But now, back in the day, like you would say in your phrases, remember there were specialized music shows that you would have to catch at maybe 9 p.m., 10 p.m, studio mix. That's revealing my age, Titi. But then you get to a point where now we've got a whole platform solely dedicated to music videos. What do you think is the importance of having such platforms for artists and for the creative economy behind music videos?
I think it is absolutely very key. I think the more you don't expose your audiences to what is out there, the more myopic they think. I think they'll just center around that the world revolves around generations or, Movango, etc. But there's a whole world out there that creative young people can actually express themselves. And I think Channel O was revolutionary in giving South African artists particularly that platform. I think we were not biased in terms of what music videos we show and the quality. It was how beautiful we are as a being. And availing those platforms is very key to continue that. Yes, now we have social media, we have YouTube, we have these platforms which also play a role. So it's not that it's a competitive space, it's a bigger space in which people can play in. And playing is very important, because when you restrict people's creativity, I think the more they don't grow as a people. So Channel O as a brand is still very, very intentional about giving a platform to all musicians and all artists. And we have a beautiful campaign that we call Under the Radar, where you can submit your music video and maybe somebody sees it out there. I think it's a very powerful brand, not only locally, but also in Africa. So it is not something that we are seeing as a dying culture. In fact, it is a growing culture, because now it's actually more accessible. You can shoot a music video on a phone. You can, you don't need the expensive equipment. You just need your creativity And I think having any platform available in an accessible way to our middle and mass audience is very key for us as a channel. It grows the economy, the people behind the scenes that are involved, the stylists, the camera people, the sound people, the editors, all the people around the piece of content that don't get seen and acknowledged, because often you focus on the artists themselves. But behind the scenes, as we all know and appreciate, there's a lot of work that goes into actually making that 3 or 4 minute video. So very key for us to give a platform not just to the artists, but to everybody else involved in that content piece.
Nice. Nate, I mean, I think you also like benefit a lot in terms of such platforms. You know, what did that mean to you as a music video director and for your crew and for your team to have platforms that are solely dedicated to showcasing music videos?
Yeah, they're very important. And as a music video director, and for most of the directors, pretty much all of them, we've benefited from having channels like Channel O, all of the platforms, even YouTube. And it's been interesting. When I first started this concept, we were going to start with, the evolution of it was going to start with guerrilla films and pilot films, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys remember them. They're basically like the first people to put their names on music videos. A lot of the directors before in the 1980s, 1990s didn't really place their names in videos, so it's very hard to find out information about it. But we were going to start it there, and then I ended up researching it more and be like, yo, actually, who's the first music video director? Like, who are the first? And shout out to a lady named Pam Deborah Harris and Ian Gabriel. Pam couldn't be here tonight. Her daughter is here. Thank you for coming to represent her. But she's a very crucial part in the story. And to lean it into the conversation of Channel O, Pam is I dug deeper and I found Pam Deborah Harris, who starts a production company and does all of Chico Twala's videos, Brenda Fassi, Lucky Dube, like the list goes on. And she dominates the music video industry as a producer for like a good 10 years or so. And then Channel O comes and she is part of the bid that starts Channel O later on. And in the evolution of this documentary, and you can see it, you can see a dramatic change in how the economy of the music video industry has a complete like spiral upwards during the time that Channel O comes. And there's also another key factor to that. AFTER also starts. Right? If anyone's heard of the film school called AFTER, those two things kind of start at the same time. It's a bit after apartheid. Kwaito is starting to bubble up and become like a mouthpiece for young people. And those two things, just to give you an idea of how impactful having a 24-hour music video channel really was, it gave an entire economic division of the film industry that didn't really exist before. In a time that people needed to evolve with technology and make money, and filmmakers needed to come out of AFTER and do something, and maybe there weren't enough movies and so on. So it is something that's not only shaped culture, it's something that's created jobs for a lot of people that have fed their families in this room, literally, you know?
Wow.
Sorry, little history lesson there.
Beautiful. On a parting question, and this is something that you guys have also just mentioned in terms of the evolution of it, you know, and how it's been democratized as well. You can shoot a video on your phone. You have these, entry level like DSLRs and things of that nature. It's no longer the grand 1 million rand video or 250,000 rand video. You know, it's changed a lot. Some are of the school that it's cheapened it. Some, are of the school that it's given us a lot of access and it's really just leveled the playing field. So there are many things that are happening. It's been democratized and the access is more. And then you also have the popularized version of the music video not being taken seriously anymore in this day and age. You know, you have other music video channels shutting down. We're still here. So what do you think is now the role of music video channels now and music videos, and what value do they have in this current state of time?
I think, as we evolve as people and new platforms come on, it is not to see the one replacing the other. I think the more the merrier. I think there's still a space for linear television in this digital age, right? And we mustn't forget who the audience is, right? So our middle and mass audience, or the people that we are making this content for, what is the best way for them to access content? And we may say it's YouTube, it's TikTok, and yes, that's valid, but there is still room for linear or television watching or a 24-hour music channel. And we see that from the audiences that continue to watch our content and their viewing patterns. So as we evolve, which is fantastic, it is to move with the times, right? Is to make it more accessible, is to make the turnaround time a little bit quicker, is to make the barriers of entry a little bit less cumbersome and bureaucratic. But for me, as we move along, it's more platforms for more people to showcase their talent. It is not only now hogged to say you can only be a star when your content is on television. We've seen how people have found stardom of social media, digital platforms, Spotify, etc., and that's fantastic. And I think we are still committed to doing our part as Channel O. We are still committed to working with partners in the industry. We are committed to finding new talent. And I think it's applicable across the board to all the local entertainment channels that we have at MultiChoice. So for me and the team, storytelling continues. Where it lands, and the fact that it's not exclusive to Channel O doesn't matter. The fact is we get your talent out there, and we get as many eyeballs out there to actually see your talent, whether it's locally in Africa or globally.
Yeah. Is the question, are music videos important, right? Is that kind of...
Basically.
Okay, all right. I get this question a lot. It's like now I'm the spokesperson for this. Yeah, music videos are important, right? And it's even more interesting to see it from my lens and my perspective of seeing the evolution of it. And when it comes to the young kids that are doing things now, they have more access and easier technology and so on, right? At the beginning of music videos, back to my history lesson, sorry guys, I've been doing this documentary too long. It's like very gate-kept, and there's very few directors, right? And the labels are the ones controlling it. So the labels will have access to the directors, and the artists can't really access the directors unless it's through the label, right? And then that shifts completely at some point. And guerrilla films and pilot films, and, sorry, Fense Mwase is responsible for that. Studio Space Pictures is responsible for that. In some ways, I don't like talking about myself, but Uprooted Media is responsible for that. And, you know, Lenzo and so many other people that come in after that, and everyone involves it. At some point it becomes not gate kept, right? And now there's a lot more options for people to shoot music videos. I think the real question is, do directors still have a value? Is like big budget production companies, do they still have a value? And I'd like to say that what you would want to pay a lot of money for and do it properly is you're paying for taste, right? More than the equipment and the accessibility to being able to shoot a music video anymore. And just to double down on how important a music video is, right? If there's any artists, if this gets recorded and there's any artist that hears this, I think that if you want to skip the bullshit and you want to get to being a global superstar, right? It's very rare that you can do that without a music video. And that rarely happens. And the best way to do that is with a music video. And I'm going to say one thing. Tyler, who just shot one legendary global music video, then went and shipped herself to LA and shopped around for a label with that music video and got a global sensational deal out of that one music video. By showing it in a certain way with all the dances and the production value and the heavy grade and the styling and the look and feel. That label took her seriously because they looked at this video and they were like, that Garth kid, by the way, shout out to Garth, I couldn't get him in the documentary. And they were like, deal in dollars, let's go. And she's now if not, it's debatable, but she is the biggest artist in Africa. And that is heavily reliant on the actual music video that she went and did with Garth and Lishay and a bunch of creatives.
So Nate, you were spot on. I saw Nota clapping for that, so you're definitely right.
Understand?
Understand? But like, I think we've done a lot of talking. I think it's time for us to watch and let's see the genius and the community and the creatives behind the music video vault. Enjoy, guys.
Oh, I just want to say one more thing. Sorry. Yeah, this documentary, it's the 1980s, 1990s. So if some of the directors from my era are here, it's good for us to learn how it all started. Episode 2, 3, and 4 is when all the other directors start coming in. It's a linear format, and yeah, we've made sure that we include all of you in there. And you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to thank everybody. I think the behind the scenes is never acknowledged or never really understood. And without you guys behind the scenes and the creative ideas, we wouldn't have half the things on air. And I think that is very important to be acknowledged. The editors, you know, the stylists, the camera people, the long hours, shooting, getting that shot. I mean, there's a scene where Zola's video was shot in the snow and it's cold, and it's things that you don't maybe get to appreciate as a viewer. But I think for us as industry people, we really do appreciate all of that. Even the musicians themselves and the music producers that actually spend hours and hours in studio creating these beautiful, you know, content pieces, I'll call them, but music that shaped our lives. I think the music video doesn't exist without the music. So just a shout out to everybody that's involved, and the fact that this industry is still alive for me makes me very proud. So thank you very much, everyone.
Yo, and I just want to say one last thing, sorry. There's a person named Lumko Dukashi who couldn't be here tonight, right? But in my documentary, he's a very important person. He, in essence, along with Tebogo Matlatsi and a few other people that I tried to find research on, but in essence, he is one of the very first black music video producers. And he's iconic. He does a lot of Bricks videos, Umoy, Squatter Camp. He couldn't be here tonight, but yeah, also legend. So I just want to say thank you to him. He was also part of this documentary. And yeah.
Thank you.
Shout out to Uprooted Media. Give it up.